Hello! So I survived 2 days of EGX, although today is Saturday and I do feel like I've been beaten up. So yeah, recovering from cancer treatment and doing trade shows is probably not a good idea. But I did manage Thursday and Friday, which are thankfully the quiet days, so I might go back tomorrow, I don't know. The first thing you'll notice from this coverage in the background is that it's shot on my mobile phone and it's a bit shaky. And the second thing you notice is it's an awful long walk from the train station to actually get to the event. It's just corridors and travelators and escalators. But finally you'll get there. And then you'll join a queue to get tickets. Now, I managed to blag it so that I didn't have to stand in the major queue to get in. I could basically just turn up at 10 o'clock and walk to the front to get in. Basically because I just can't stand around for like an hour and a half in a queue for no apparent reason. Did queue up for some of the games. The first one on the right hand side you'll see there is Battlezone. I played that. It's a really good PlayStation VR game. It's probably the best VR game I've played so far. I haven't played an awful lot, but that was the best. Unfortunately, I'll probably never play it again because I have no plans of buying a PlayStation VR. But I really enjoyed Battlezone, so if you do get a PlayStation VR, try it out. PlayStation had a massive stand. You can see there they got some VR units. On the other side, we got Virgin Media, who were the event sponsors. They were running this Destiny speedrun tournament, which was incredibly loud but seemed to be incredibly popular. I never played Destiny, so it didn't really appeal to me. Yet more PlayStation stand. PlayStation were the biggest company there. They had got a ton of games, a ton of consoles, a ton of area, really well done. Microsoft had no presence at EGX at all, so they weren't showing off the One S, which I suppose maybe they just don't think is big enough. Here is one of the big problems though at EGX, and it's these walls. So the wall you saw there for Dishonored 2, that has to be there because it's an 18 plus game and they can't show it on the main floor. On the left hand side we got the Twitch stage, so they were live streaming from EGX on that stage. Final Fantasy 15, apparently really good, but I didn't play that. Didn't really watch much of the Twitch stuff because I realised I could see it better watching the VODs when I got home. So yeah, Twitch stage was probably really good if you were at home and couldn't get here, but if you were here there didn't seem to be much point watching the Twitch stage. As you can see, although there are crowds, they're not too bad, and that's because Thursday and Friday are the quiet days. People are at work, so they can't make the event. You're still having to queue for an hour for some stuff. I did cover most of the big games, so Dishonored 2, Gears of War, Dawn of War. Didn't do Call of Duty. They had a big stand, but again it was walled off and the queues were massive. The merchandise stuff, most of the stores seem to be selling very similar things. There was all very similar ranges of t-shirts. In fact, some of the stores were identical to each other. There were some custom t-shirt companies, but most of the stuff was the same. There's a lot of pop figures, there were a lot of gaming statues and that kind of stuff. Overwatch had quite a big presence, but again it was like a competition-y thing, so I didn't really get involved in that. A lot of the games actually seem to be not projecting out to people who don't play their game. So Destiny and Overwatch, you had to play Destiny and Overwatch to have any interest in what they were doing. If you didn't play Overwatch and wanted to just turn up and find out what was going on, you didn't have a hope. Same with Tekken. That was just a Tekken tournament. So although you could play Tekken at the side, it was all playing against other people who were there. And so all the Tekken players went there. If you didn't play Tekken, you really couldn't get anything out of the Tekken stand. And like I say, this was a recurring theme. There were very few people there who were new people interested in their games. You'd get a lot of AAAs basically just putting the game there and saying play it, but there was nobody there to tell you what the game was about or how to play it. A lot of the smaller games did really well. So Battlezone had somebody who was there who talked you through how the PlayStation VR worked and how the game worked. You had a few of the smaller indies who would have somebody there who would tell you about the game, explain it, what the aim of the game was, but the AAAs just didn't do that at all. And a big part of that is walling games off, because you have to queue for the game before you can actually find out about the game. Mafia 3, this was really interesting. They'd got a big stand set up to look like a cinema, and that's because all you could do was go in and watch 20 minutes of footage of Mafia 3. You couldn't actually play Mafia 3. Now at least the presentation told you about the game and you didn't have to queue for an hour to find out if you'd like it or not. Little Nightmares. Now this is coming up on the right, and this was a really interesting game. They made a lot of effort on their stand. They had characters from the game walking around and interacting with people. They did have quite a big queue, but they entertained the queue as they went around and gave out sweets and that kind of stuff. And as you can see, their stand was set up to look like an area in the game. And when you went in and played it, there was somebody there who would talk you through it. It's basically a puzzle game. So you're controlling a little girl in a yellow raincoat, and you move around and complete puzzles like moving objects to wave certain trapdoors down and that kind of stuff. Very entertaining little game, and it looked really good. Don't know if I'd buy it. Maybe if it was on sale I'd buy it to play it. But it was interesting and fun. That was the best thing about it. And they actually took time to tell you what the game was, how to play it, what it was all about. Divinity Invitational area was a CSGO tournament. That was very professionally done. They'd got cameras on booms and they were swinging around, and it was well presented. You're going to see here an oddity in this event. Somebody actually apologised to me for bumping into me in a queue, and that's the gentleman there in the black t-shirt who's Terps from the Yogs cast. So I did meet somebody famous by basically him bumping into me as he was trying to get out the Yogcast stand, which was insanely popular at various times. On the left there is more of the Gfinity thing. As you can see, it was a really big area, big stage. They had good areas for the teams. It was well presented, well commentated. I actually enjoyed watching some of the CSGO stuff, but I didn't want to spend all day doing it, so I only watched a couple of rounds. But it was fun and entertaining. On the left here you see a small board game area. That was pretty good. There appears to be a new version of Ticket to Ride out, which involves ships and ocean liners and things. Might have a look at that. There were quite a few of these nice little seating areas dotted around, and the food suppliers seem to be really good as well. So you could get like freshly baked pizza and freshly baked pasties and all kinds of healthy stuff as well, but I didn't go for any of the healthy stuff. I went for the stuff that was quick, easy and very tasty. I think this is the other side of the Tekken zone, is it? Have I just walked around in circles? Yes, probably. But again, that was really well presented, just incredibly loud. It seemed to blast out across the entire hall. Coming up on the right is one of my favourite areas, and that was the retro zone. So it was lots of old computer systems and gaming systems. Just gone past a Philips G7000, which was the first gaming system I ever owned. And lots of old computers from my generation. I think there's a VIC-20 there, Commodore 64, Sinclair Spectrum, Amstrad 128, BBC Model B, best computer ever made. And what's that one? Is that an Amiga? Yeah, probably. Master Systems, SNESes, old PCs. They'd got a bunch of games that wouldn't run on modern PCs, so they'd got like Windows 3.1 running on 486s. You could play pretty much any game from any era. That was a really good. And they've got pinball machines and arcade machines as well. There we got EA's mobile FIFA 17 stand. So I think that probably goes around football stadiums and things, because it is basically a mobile stand that is a trailer and folds out and becomes a FIFA 17 presentation. Didn't get to play FIFA 17. I don't know much about it. Was going to try and learn about it, but there was always big queues. This is the 18 plus area, so you had to show ID if you wanted to get in here, and all the games in here were 18 plus. A lot of the games on the floor were 18 plus, which is why they had the big walls, but this was a more open area. So you've got Gears of War 4, you've got the new South Park game where they'd got Smelly Vision VR. They'd got like a little set that you wore over your nose as well as over your eyes, and it blasted the smell of farts into you. Didn't get to play that, but it sounded disgusting, and you could see people's reaction to when they got the smells. Then you got Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2. Now obviously I did play both of these. I only did a couple of rounds of Titanfall 2 because it was only available on Xbox and I really can't do controllers. Did manage to get a few kills and call in a Titan. There's some really nice new Titans. There's a burner Titan which is basically fires off flamethrowers and all that kind of stuff. I did play quite a lot of rounds of Battlefield 1, I have to say. If you went in first thing at the morning or after sort of 3 o'clock, you could get multiple rounds in with barely any queuing. So I played 2 rounds on the Thursday, but on Friday I did 5 rounds in the afternoon. San Quentin Scar, it is a really good map, but I'll go into that in a different video. One of the advantages I got from playing so many rounds is that I now have a bunch of codes to give away, which will get you the I Was There medal, which is only available to people who played the game at things like EGX and Gen Con and E3. And thanks to Kyle, one of the EA community managers, I also have a Battlefield 1 DICE t-shirt. So this is the t-shirt that the staff were wearing at the event, and I've got half a dozen of these I Was There codes to give away, but I'll do a separate video about that next week. It'll be one of those giveaways where you've got to leave a comment on the video, and I don't like leaving those up after the giveaway has ended because people can end up leaving comments and thinking they're entering a giveaway that's actually already finished. So look out for the giveaway video around Wednesday and it'll run for 7 days. So that was EGX 2016 for me. There was no real revelations when it came to the games. The games I was going to buy, I'm still going to buy. The games that I wasn't going to buy that I tried out, I probably still won't buy. There were a few surprises. Battlezone surprised me and Little Nightmares. It was an enjoyable event. I got to meet some interesting people. I met Kyle and Lee, who were the community managers at EA UK. I bought myself some funky t-shirts and I got some stuff to give away to you guys. And I hope if you don't get to these kind of events, this has given you some idea of what's there.